Hi everyone, this is Kathleen. I'm known as Mrs. McTutor on my YouTube channel, where I started doing video lessons for teachers and for students who need them. So today I'm going to focus on the English Regents exam part 2, the argument essay, strategies for success. So this is just a one screen overview of the essay, the part 2 task as a whole. You need to read 4 texts that are provided, write an argument essay, including information from at least 3 of the texts. For the Regents argument essay, you cannot use any outside information. I know sometimes it seems very similar to the social studies DBQ, where you're required to include outside information. But please make no mistake, the English Regents does not allow for you to include outside information. It's a completely text-based essay. Okay, you must include citations. The directions will show you how to do that, and so will I. And you must, of course, include counterclaim to show some understanding of the other side of the argument. Okay, so the approach. Let's look at some ways to approach writing the argument. For the Regents exam and for really any exam or assignment you're given, you do want to annotate the directions. Always annotate directions. When you don't annotate the directions, you're likely to leave out something important. So highlight, circle, put stars next to all the things they're asking you to do in the directions. When you're done with your essay, always go back and reread, look at your annotations to make sure you didn't miss anything important. So for an argument essay, you do want to attempt to try to understand both sides of the issue. I know sometimes you're giving a topic that you already maybe understand a little bit or you already maybe feel strongly about. Try to resist the urge to jump onto one side of the argument initially. You do want to really try to understand both sides the way they're being presented. But when it does come time to actually write your essay, you will then have to choose one side. Okay, do not flip-flop. Occasionally, I'll read a student's essay where they're kind of just going back and forth, looking at both sides of the argument. And well, sometimes this is good and sometimes that is good. And it's a little bit of a flip floppy, back and forth kind of essay, which is not an argument essay. So you will have to choose one side. Okay, think of the information in the text as something that you have to sort through. You have to realize that there are 2 sides presented within the text, and you just want to be able to sort through that information. I do have a note at the bottom. This is especially for my English language learners, my ENL students. It's okay if you don't understand an entire text. Okay, just look for the pro and con reasons from what you do understand. I know some of these texts can be pretty challenging, especially again for English language learners. Just don't panic. If you get a really challenging text, just think of it as okay. I need to sort through this. I have to look through and see if I could find something I understand on the pro side or something I understand on the con side, just so you can use some of the information when you write. Okay, visual sorting. I'm all about the visuals. Okay, I'm a visual learner. I know a lot of my students are. So I highly encourage my students to use green and orange highlighters when they're sorting through the pro and con information in the text. It really makes life so much easier. So think pro is everything on like the yes side. This is what is good. Con is going to be on the con the con side, the no side. That maybe something is not a good thing. Okay, so think pro green, con orange. And then you want to just sort through the information, highlighting all the pro things in green, all the con things in orange, but always remember to take that extra moment to add a little annotation in the text. Okay, if you just highlight stuff and don't label it, it's not quite as useful. So put a little note in the margin to let us know what type of information this is. If maybe they're talking about longevity and how doing this type of thing will make people live 10 years longer, of course, we would highlight that in green. And we might say people live longer in the margin. So you just want to label that. If you haven't seen my annotation video lesson on my YouTube channel, you definitely want to check that out. I have a really great video lesson about what does it mean to annotate, how do you do it, most importantly, why should you do it. Okay, so this is actually a page from a previous English Regents exam. This was the one about GMOs. You can see that we highlighted pro information in green and con information in orange. And we, of course, labeled the information in the margin so we can go back and use it. I suggest you make a really informal but necessary pro-con list. When you're done, I usually just sort out my information and see which would make the stronger argument essay for me to write. To me, it's just a much easier way to see it visually. You do want to set up an outline. I'm a big fan of outlines. I usually do really informal outlines. Note what goes in the intro. Make sure you have topic sentences for those body paragraphs. And of course, make sure you include that counterclaim to show that you understand the other side. I am going to click on this just to show you this outline that I created. Excuse me. This PowerPoint, of course, is available on Teachers Pay Teachers if any of you wanted a clean copy to use in your classroom. And also this outline is there too if you'd like to use it. It's just helpful if students struggle with getting the wording right, but you can see the introduction. Your first body will be your first main reason. Your second body will be your second main reason. That third body is where you do your counterclaim and rebuttal. Show that you understand the other side, but you want to strengthen up your side too. And of course, your conclusion. Okay, then you'd go ahead and write the essay. Please make sure that the essay is in your own words. Be careful not to overquote, where you're basically just stringing quote to quote to quote, and we're not hearing your voice. This essay should be in your voice. You're the one who's making the statements based on what you learned, and then you're going to support what you're saying with evidence from the text. So make sure we're hearing your voice throughout. You must include 3 texts. At least 3 out of the 4 texts must show up in your essay. And of course, you have to have some quotes, and that counterclaim is so necessary. Okay, they do tell you in the directions how to cite your sources. You can see it listed here. 75% of teenagers agree that there's a significant problem. Okay, and here's your in-text citation. They want you to write text 2, comma, line 15. Please notice that the period comes after the parentheses. All right, so now you can give it a try. Okay, you could take out a Regents Part 2 argument essay. And of course, you'll start by annotating those directions. Okay, read and annotate the first text. Let's use orange and green highlighters to sort out the pro and con information. And we're going to also label the information in the margin. Okay, I think after you make your way through all 4 texts, they should look something like this. This is still the one from the GMO, Task 2 from the New York State Regents. Text 1, here's what it looked like when we annotated it. It's a mixture of pro and con information, and you see annotations in the margins. Text 2 is definitely very much on the con side. Text 3 was a blend of pro and con information. And text 4 was very much on the pro side. Okay, so you need to use information from at least 3 of those 4 texts when you write. Okay, I did a very quick pro-con list. You can look through to see some of the things I put on the pro side that I learned, some of the things I put on the con side that I learned. And if you just look at the bottom, this is actually really important. You're going to have to come up with 2 main reasons for those 2 body paragraphs on your side. So look over the information you have on each side of your pro-con list and see if you can come up with like a bigger reason, that you could use that information to support. So on the pro side, you see at the bottom, it says big topics, health benefits. You can solve world hunger. Those could be 2 body paragraphs if I choose the pro side. On the con side, health risks, risks to the environment. Those could be my 2 body paragraphs if I choose the con side, right? So you look at your information and you want to kind of come up with like a bigger reason that you could discuss and use all that information. Okay, then of course at this point you'd be ready to go ahead and write your essay. And of course you could use that outline to help you, if you need some help with the wording to get started. If you thought this video lesson was helpful, please like it below and subscribe to my channel. I'm going to keep making these videos if you find them helpful. That's it. Thanks so much. Send me some suggestions if you want any specific lessons. All right, thanks. Bye-bye.